The Ragin Cajun is no stranger to the silver screen, but he's never quite gotten that solo movie off the ground. Here's a billion-dollar question then. Will Hollywood ever break the Gambit curse? Avengers Doomsday is likely to be the make-or-break moment for Gambit's future. He functions perfectly well as comedic relief in Deadpool and Wolverine, with much of the humor coming from his thick Cajun accent.
Who is your dialect coach? The Minions?
But it's worth noting that Gambit is genuinely difficult to understand in the movie. It's hard to say whether audiences would sit through an entire movie in which the hero talks like this.
The name's Remy Labo. Du Diable Blanc. But you can call me the Gambit.
It's been a while since I've seen Sling Blade. Hit me again.
There are a few ways around this though. Tatum's Gambit may have exited the void in a deleted scene from Deadpool and Wolverine, but that doesn't mean this will be the version of Gambit we see in Doomsday. Tatum may play an entirely different variant, one that's native to the X-Men universe we visit in the film, and that means he could be a lot easier to understand. Even though it's unlikely Gambit will have a ton of screen time in Doomsday, he might also get the chance to show off a more dramatic side, especially in the face of a multiversal threat like Doctor Doom. The fact that Marvel executives were apparently obsessed with Tatum's Gambit likely helped the character squeeze into Doomsday, yet it will also be his testing ground. Does this version of the character work in a setting where he's not making meta jokes about his long gestating solo movie falling apart? No one can say right now, but if it doesn't, then Tatum's version of Gambit might just meet his doom. See what they did there? Ha ha ha! Just because Gambit has never had a solo movie doesn't mean nobody's tried to get one going. Originally played by Taylor Kitsch, Remy LeBeau made his big screen debut in X-Men Origins Wolverine, a movie that didn't exactly leave a stellar impression on audiences, and that's putting it kindly. Suffice it to say, Gambit deserved better than his portrayal in Origins, and that's where Channing Tatum comes into the story.
You know how long I've been waiting for this? Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
Tatum had long been interested in playing Gambit. He was initially offered the part in Origins, but had to turn it down due to his commitment to G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra. After Origins, the X-Men franchise got a soft reboot with X-Men First Class, setting the stage for Gambit's reintroduction. In May 2014, Tatum signed on to play Remy in X-Men Apocalypse, with the idea being that he'd helm his own solo film after that. Set for release in October 2016, the Gambit project was to be a lower-stakes story compared to the other movies in the X-Men franchise, following a brand of gangsters and criminals who fight at street level. Unfortunately, the pieces just never fell into place. Gambit was cut from Apocalypse before shooting began, and the planned solo movie was pretty much DOA. The script underwent a number of rewrites, and several directors came and went, including Rupert Wyatt, Doug Liman, and Gore Verbinski. For a while, Tatum and his producing partner, Reed Carolyn, floated the idea of directing it themselves, just to get things going, but Fox nixed that idea. Then in 2019, Disney acquired 20th Century Fox, and it seems like Tatum's Gambit movie had been killed off for good. The failure of Gambit's solo movie hit Channing Tatum hard. In 2022, he told Variety, "I was so traumatized, I shut off my Marvel machine. I haven't been able to see any of the movies." But Tatum's day finally came when he scored a supporting role in 2024's Deadpool and Wolverine, in which Gambit appears in the void alongside other discarded Marvel characters such as Elektra, Blade, and X-23. Tatum's Gambit quickly became a fan-favorite character, and his popularity seems to have renewed talk about the prospect of a standalone movie. That said, it might be some time before this happens, or at least that's what Kevin Feige told Tatum.
He literally was like, "Look, I love Gambit. I just don't know how to do it right now. Like, I don't know how he fits into what we're doing."
Of course, this could simply be a studio head trying to appease a stay-on and A-lister's good side. It might not mean anything at all. There's certainly a lot on Feige's plate right now. The MCU is currently edging towards the end of the multiverse saga with Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, and other tentpole projects like Spider-Man Brand New Day are taking up the rest of the space in the franchise. That said, Tatum has been confirmed to appear in Doomsday, so he's clearly still on Marvel's radar. Just don't expect to see too much more of him before the book shuts on the current saga. Channing Tatum has never had a bad word to say about Kevin Feige, and that makes a lot of sense. After all, it's wise to be nice to the boss when you need something from them. Although he hasn't spoken specifically about a Gambit solo movie, Feige does have big plans for the X-Men. According to a report in the Wall Street Journal, he has a 10-year plan for the mutants in the MCU.
It's Kevin's Joe.
As it happens, several mutants have made appearances in Marvel movies lately. Charles Xavier was part of the Illuminati on Earth 838 in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, for example, while Beast appeared in the post-credit scene in the Marvels. On top of that, Ms. Marvel changed Kamala Khan's origin to make her a mutant, laying the foundations for mutants to appear in the MCU's Earth 616. If the MCU is now in the multiverse saga, then all signs suggest that a mutant saga could be next. 10 years certainly offers a lot of opportunities for X stories to drive the MCU's overarching narrative, and rumors of an Avengers vs. X-Men movie have been circulating for a while now. There's still a lot we don't know, however. Which mutants will the MCU actually focus on? Are they all going to appear in team-up movies, or will some get their own solo projects? And will Wolverine be the star of the show yet again? Or might Marvel choose another mutant to front the X-Men going forward? If you want to thank anyone for bringing Gambit into the conversation, thank this guy.
I am Marvel Jesus.
Ryan Reynolds played a vital role in getting Channing Tatum involved with Deadpool and Wolverine. After the film was released, Tatum posted on Instagram, "I thought I lost Gambit forever, but he fought for me and Gambit. I owe him probably forever, because I'm not sure how I could ever do something that would be equal to what this has meant to me. I love you, buddy." Soon after, Reynolds spoke about the prospect of a Gambit movie on Entertainment Weekly's Awardist podcast.
I do know that they're obsessed with him in that role.
Again, nothing has been confirmed about whether a solo Gambit movie is actually happening or not, but that does sound promising. Reynolds also pointed out that he had been in a similar situation to Tatum in the past. Reynolds first played the Merc with a mouth in X-Men Origins Wolverine, a debut that, frankly, made a lot of people very angry. But Reynolds persevered, and the script for a Deadpool standalone movie was mysteriously leaked to the public in 2010. People loved it, obviously, and so 20th Century Fox commissioned a reel of test footage, and then basically forgot about it. When that footage leaked online years later, the reaction from fans pretty much forced Fox to push forward with a solo Deadpool movie, and the rest is history.
Maximum effort.
Why does all this matter? Because if it can happen to Deadpool, then surely it can happen to Gambit too. We know that the original Gambit movie was supposed to revolve around the antics of a group of low-level villains, but that's not all we've learned. According to Lizzie Kaplan, who was attached to star as a female lead at one point, the film also would have been quite funny. In an interview with Business Insider, Kaplan said they wanted to do like a 30s kind of screwball romantic comedy set in that world, which would have been really fun. Now, Gambit is nothing if not a ladies' man, and this approach lines up with a 2018 statement from Simon Kinberg, who was set to produce the film. He told IGN, "I would say the vibe of Gambit has a romantic or sex comedy vibe to it, while it is also still very much a superhero movie with villains and heroes, as all these movies are. Still, just because the original Gambit was supposed to have rom-com elements doesn't mean the same will be true of a future version. Significant changes will likely be required to help Gambit fit inside the MCU, and there's practically no chance that Marvel Studios will do anything genuinely salacious with the character. Whether any other elements from the original project are carried over remains to be seen, but fans would no doubt chomp at the bit to see Gambit lead a low-stakes, street-level superhero story. Let's say a Gambit movie finally gets the green light over at Marvel Studios. Who would actually star in it? Channing Tatum would be a dead cert, of course, since his appearance in Deadpool and Wolverine was such a hit with fans. That movie even has a deleted scene in which Gambit escapes the void, allowing him to enter a proper universe. It's yet to be seen which reality that version of the character is now living in, but the answer to that question is likely relevant to Tatum's appearance in Avengers Doomsday. The next major Avengers film will also see the return of other former X-Men actors, including Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, James Marsden, Rebecca Romijn, Alan Cumming, and Kelsey Grammer. That said, it wouldn't really make sense for these characters to hang around in the long term. Their return worked for the multiversal hijinks of Doomsday and Secret Wars, but Kevin Feige's 10-year plan for the MCU's mutants almost certainly involves a new roster of actors coming in to play the X-Men. Will Gambit be among them? We'll just have to wait and see. We spent a good deal of time asking whether Marvel Studios would ever make a solo Gambit movie. Here's a question though, should they? After all, solo X-Men films have been a pretty mixed bag up until this point. The Deadpool trilogy is solid, sure, although the third installment is basically a team-up movie. On the other hand, X-Men Origins Wolverine was a total disaster, but on the other hand, Logan is arguably the best X-Men film ever made. The fact is, it's almost impossible to say whether these characters will work best alone or as part of a team. A solo Gambit film could very well be a smash hit, but with so many mutants now at Marvel's disposal, will the character be better suited to another kind of project? Unless Kevin Feige is planning something radically different for the MCU's mutants, he'll probably want to establish X-Men stalwarts such as Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Storm before focusing too much on other characters. And even they might not get solo movies. Reportedly, Marvel has hired the Ballad of Songbirds and Snake screenwriter Michael Leslie to pen an upcoming X-Men movie, with Thunderbolts director Jake Schreier likely to helm it. As well as that, Ryan Reynolds is reportedly writing a Deadpool X-Men team-up movie of his own. Gambit could easily fit into either of these projects. X-Men the Animated Series and X-Men 97 prove that Remy LeBeau works great as part of an ensemble, and it may be for the best to keep it that way, especially if Marvel isn't quite willing to take a chance on a solo movie. Then again, maybe we're wrong. Maybe Gambit will pull off the mother of all comebacks, rocketing in popularity among fans and earning the standalone project he so deserves. Stranger things have happened after all.